I'm a big Vincent Price fan. I always have been. He's probably one of the best-known actors probably in the entire world. And we talked with him the last time he was here about being like stereotyped in movies as always the villain, and been most successful at it. And off-screen, when he's not acting, he has a great variety of interests. Art, of course, is one of them. He has a beautiful book called The Treasury of American Art. And his newest film, what would you think the name of this is? Theater of Blood is coming out soon. Would you welcome, please, Mr. Vincent Price? Yeah.
Good evening.
Do you get that all the time, like that's all you've ever done in motion pictures, which it's not?
I know, no. But, you know, I was so jealous that you had Cass Elliot Day in Baltimore. I've never had Vincent Price Day in St. Louis.
Never?
No, they'd probably hang me from the arch.
Now, when they hear that, I'll bet you 8 to 5, before the week is out, you'll get a letter saying we want to hold a Vincent Price Day in St. Louis. I saw you the other night talking about typecasting. It was a Western.
Yeah.
You played a feudal land baron. Remember that picture?
Dragonwyck.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good picture.
Yeah, it was a good picture.
Yeah.
And you were nasty and mean and evil.
But lovable.
But cute.
But sweet. I always feel I get the dirty end of the stick, if you'll pardon the expression.
No, I think, we talked about this once on the show. I think the type of thing, and you love doing them.
Yeah, they're great
You love
fun
doing
to do.
those. It's like because everybody loves the horror stories and the mystery stuff. And they're timeless.
Yeah.
They're not dated at all, right?
Well, you know, you get to play such different kinds of parts. I mean, the hero is so dull. You know what I mean, huh?
Yeah, the good guys always.
Yeah, but the heroes usually are fairly dull, straightforward guys, got to be good. But in Theater of Blood, for instance, I play 8 Shakespearean parts. Now, I'm an old Shakespearean ham actor, and I don't win the Critics' Circle Award. So, to get even with them, I kill off all the critics.
One by one.
Yeah, but the lovely thing was, you know, that when the English actors read the plot of the picture, they all wanted to be in it.
Right.
And so we have 12 of the best actors in England. Robert Morley and Dennis Price and Diana Rigg and Coral Brown. Fantastic people in it. And I knock them all off.
And go around one by one.
Yeah, one by one. Each one according to a play in Shakespeare.
Now, that's really a kind of a tour de force for an actor to be able to do something like that. Do people, when they meet you, I heard you talking to a couple of the fellows in the hall, I was in the makeup room, tend to associate with you all the time, or to frighten people? Karloff used to get that question all the time, and he was a gentle, kind man. Was a lovely, quiet man.
A very sweet man. I had a wonderful thing happen the other day in an airport. I was sitting minding my own business, and this girl came up to me and she said, "You're not, are you?" And I said, "I'm not who?" And she said, "Boris Karloff." And I said, "No." I said, she said, "You're not Boris Karloff?" And I said, "No, he's dead." And she looked at me and said, "He is," and walked away.
Never asked who you were?
Never asked who I was at all.
Not exactly an ego builder, is it?
It was one of the most humiliating things that has ever happened to me.
He is, and she just split.
Just went away. Didn't have the slightest idea who I was. She knew I wasn't Peter Lorre because he was short.
Right. Yes. I wish we had that film clip. I think we talked about it one night on the show. And I think you were in that picture. Did you do a picture with Peter and Boris? And
Boris and Basil. I did one called Tales of Terror. And another one, yeah, somebody saw it. Yeah. And, you know, this week in Paris, there's 7 of my pictures playing in a film festival. Can you imagine anything more depressing?
Not a bit. I think that's great. People love that.
Yeah, I think they do. They go all night long on the Champs-Élysées. There's nothing else to do in Paris anymore.
But no, that film clip I was talking about, and I don't know who had it, but I saw it one night. And there was a scene where you were trying to break into a safe or something, and it was at the outtake. It was never in the picture, of course. And you were breaking up.
Yeah.
You were putting each other on. Now, there was something so strange about seeing you and Karloff and Lorre acting like children and giggling when this was supposed to be a very intense, diabolical scene, and all of a sudden somebody would do something to somebody, and you'd all sit there and giggle.
But Peter was the most hysterical man in the world, you know. He had marvelous gags. We did a picture called The Raven.
Oh, sure.
And it was a wonderful kind of spoof. And as we were walking down, I always keep my folks buried in the house because it's very convenient. I can get at them, you see.
Right.
And so we were going down to get a little hair of a dead man down in the cellar. And when we got down there, Peter went along this great balustrade and all of this marvelous stuff. You know, he said, "I guess it's kind of hard to keep these big places clean." And So we got down there, and I opened up the coffin, and I reached in, a hand came out, and I said, "Down, Daddy, down." And I got a little bit of hair and said, "Forgive me, Father." And I said, "I keep him here." And Peter said, "Here? Where else?"
Yeah, he was a nice man.
You never said a word in the script, but it was very funny.
Yeah. Hey, the book is lovely. I was just looking at it.
It was a lot of work, but it was great fun to do.
I know of your great and tremendous knowledge of art.
Well, I'm fascinated by American art, you know, because I don't think a lot of people think there is anything called American art.
Yeah, if you ask people to say to name painters right away, they start thinking they're Rembrandts and
Renoir, French
Renoir
painters,
and so
English painters, but there is a really very, very real American art. As a matter of fact, I've just been invited to go to Poland, no jokes.
Oh, no way.
And to
look at their picture?
No. No. Oh, that's unfair.
Now, you know.
That's unfair.
Now, that was, make it Estonia. That's Estonia or whatever. Silly.
No, we're going to take a lot of American Indian art over there because they love anything to do with the West. And I have a great big painting called The Death of Sitting Bull, done by an eyewitness, an Indian.
Is that right?
So I'm going to take it over there and lend it to them and to the Russians.
Is the great majority of American art, the American Indian, a great percentage of it?
A lot of it is, but I think it's the first book that has 2 living American Indian artists in it.
That's great. Let me take a quick break here, and we'll return in just a moment. Stay with us. Yeah.
That's for our band.
I was just looking through this Treasury of American Art. It's really a lovely book with the reproductions and everything. You know, usually when you say art, a lot of people get panicked because a lot of people aren't educated about art, and there seems to be almost a revival, at least in this country, of now people becoming conscious of paintings and wanting to have them and enjoy them in their home. And yet people get very scared when they go into a gallery sometimes.
Kind of uptight about it, yeah.
Like if something is expensive, that makes it good.
But all the publicity about art today is about how much it costs, you know, not how good it is. And I think it's frightened a lot of people away from it.
Right.
And it really is something that we should have around and enjoy instead of all of that ersatz junk that's sent over from Europe.
Yeah. You know? There are also art snobs, too, aren't there? Like there are wine snobs. In other words, a painting is only good if it's of Lamenque, something hanging on the wall.
Of the blue period or something.
Yes,
yeah.
and the painting itself can be something that you wouldn't want to live with.
No.
And yet if you have it in your house, you have to live with it. What about people, you can rent paintings.
Oh, yeah,
most people don't know this.
Great idea. Museums you can rent paintings.
You can rent a $50,000 or $100,000 Van Gogh or Sicily or something like that and hang it on the wall. You get a guard that lives in.
Yeah, lives in with a gun.
But that's kind of impressive. You're just going to have the neighbors over for a night. You know, and you go down and hang a Rembrandt on the wall, just for the night.
One of the first parties I ever went to Hollywood, it was a great big movie mogul, and he had all these wonderful paintings in the house, and they were all rented for the night.
Really?
Yeah. I wonder what if he had another party the next night. There weren't that many pictures in Hollywood.
And they're all gone.
Yeah.
So I had a bad day at the track, and you cash it all in. You paint at all?
Nope, don't.
Did you ever try?
Yes, I tried and found out I had no talent.
How long did it take you before? Everybody says anybody can paint, and that's not true. Everybody can't paint, obviously.
No, you can't paint. It takes a lot of work to paint. You know, it really takes a tremendous talent. I studied all about it, but I have no talent. No. So I just quit and decided to be a good audience for it. Because without them, you ain't got no show.
That's for sure. Most people should start, I suppose, if you start with oils, because you can change as you go along, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And fool around. It's good therapy, though. Want to do this, and then John, and then Barbara? Fred? Fred's watching Bedtime for Bonzo on the other channel. We'll take a break. Stay right with us. We shall be right back.